You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't come to work with a green cut crease. I don't look like a clown when I go to work. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. See how I look very presentable? The way I came to the interview is the way I go to the job. A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma. Not demure. I'm very modest. I'm very mindful. You see my shirt? Only a little chichi out, not my chocho. Be mindful of why they hired you. Here's your reality check, diva. What's the name you'd like me to make it out to?
The most obvious way to tell that trans women aren't women, that they are in fact men and always will be, well, I suppose that there's a lot of ways to tell. Height, facial structure, the amalgamation of male traits that can't be hidden with makeup and feminine clothing.
A transgender activist has been banned from the White House for going topless on the South Lawn during a Pride event. Rose Montoya was among hundreds invited by the Biden administration to an event over the weekend to celebrate LGBTQ+ Pride Month. Montoya posted a video from the event to Instagram that included a clip of her standing in front of the White House topless and covering herself with her hands. A White House representative said that Montoya and the other people featured in her video would be banned from future events. Quote, "This behavior is inappropriate and disrespectful for any event at the White House. It is not reflective of the event we hosted to celebrate LGBTQ+ families or the other hundreds of guests who were in attendance," the White House spokesperson said. Individuals in the video will not be invited to future events. Montoya posted a video response on Instagram that said the following.
Conservatives are trying to use the video of me topless at the White House to try to call the community groomers, etc. And I would just like to say that, first of all, going topless in Washington, D.C. is legal. And I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple, because why is my chest now deemed inappropriate or illegal when I show it off? However, before coming out as trans, it was not.
But perhaps the most omnipresent can be seen in how others treat them. An ugly woman is one of two things: invisible or a joke. It doesn't matter if she is talented, nice, intelligent, or a hard worker. The first thing noticed about a woman is her appearance. Not only is a woman judged on her appearance, but also on her presentation. As Deborah Tannen wrote in There Is No Unmarked Woman, "I considered the clothes each woman had worn during the 3 days of the conference. In the first case, man-tailored suits in primary colors with solid-color blouses. In the second, casual but stylish black t-shirts, a floppy collarless jacket, and baggy slacks or a skirt in neutral colors. The third wore a sexy jumpsuit, tight sleeveless jersey, and tight yellow slacks, a dress with gaping armholes and an indulged tendency to fall off one shoulder. Shoes? Number 1 wore string sandals with medium heels. Number 2, sensible, comfortable walking shoes. Number 3, pumps with spike heels. You can fill in the jewelry, scarves, shawls, sweaters, or lack of them. As I amused myself finding coherence in these styles, I suddenly wondered why I was scrutinizing only the women. I scanned the 8 men at the table, and then I knew why I wasn't studying them. The men's styles were unmarked. The term marked is a staple of linguistic theory. It refers to the way language alters the base meaning of a word by adding a linguistic particle that has no meaning of its own. The unmarked form of a word carries the meaning that goes without saying, what you think of when you're not thinking anything special. The unmarked tense of verbs in English is the present. For example, visit. To indicate past, you mark the verb by adding id to yield visited. For future, you add a word, will visit. Nouns are presumed to be singular until marked for plural, typically by adding s or es, so visit becomes visits and dish becomes dishes. The unmarked forms of most English words also convey male. Being male is the unmarked case. Endings like s and et mark words as female. Unfortunately, they also tend to mark them for frivolousness. Would you feel safe entrusting your life to a doctorette? Alfre Woodard, who was an Oscar nominee for Best Supporting Actress, says she identifies herself as an actor because actresses worry about eyelashes and cellulite, and women who are actors worry about the characters we are playing. Gender markers pick up extra meanings that often reflect common associations with the female gender. Not quite serious, often sexual. Each of the women at the conference had to make decisions about hair, clothing, makeup, and accessories, and each decision carried meaning. Every style available to us was marked. The men in our group had made decisions too, but the range from which they chose was incomparably narrower. Men can choose styles that are marked, but they don't have to, and in this group, none did. Unlike the women, they had the option of being unmarked. Now, I have read this work before in its entirety and referenced it in many videos on fashion, beauty, and gender because despite being written in 1993, it remains relevant today. Women not only have to consider their appearance and often address that which cannot be changed through makeup or plastic surgery, but also must meet expectations and send messages through chosen aspects such as clothing, makeup, and jewelry. There is no unmarked woman. Or in other words, there's nothing about a woman that won't be ascribed meaning, whether she intends it or not. So how come men who want to be women, referenced to by the greater public as a special subsect of women rather than as a subsect of men, are able to be ugly, stereotypical, rude, catty, out of place and unremarkable, and yet are also able to find sudden success? How come they are not read as women are?
Okay, let me check on that.
So we were talking A6, 845?
Yeah.
That works for me.
All right.
Do I need to sign anything?
No.
Or just out of here? My comment about my client?
Yeah.
I just met her. She's really nice. She's really smart. She sounds like she's got the right idea about things. I really support what she's up to, and I think it's fabulous. How about that?
God, she's accused of, what is it, criminal trespass.
In the first degree, yes.
Is she innocent or guilty?
She's innocent, of course.
She's innocent, okay. Well, she's caught on video being arrested and protesting and allegedly protesting. So I'm trying to get all sides. So
My client has pled not guilty. My name is Stephanie Mueller. I'm in the directory for the Washington State Bar Association. You could look me up.
Okay. Stephanie, thank you for your time. At this point, your client is being arraigned, though.
It's all just happened. Her hearing is over.
Got it.
It's done.
All right. Do you know when her next court date is?
I do.
I'd like to maybe just keep tabs if they're...
I think that's a great idea.
Could you tell me when that is?
No.
Oh,
Take
okay.
care.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Transgender attorney Stephanie Mueller, age 70, wore a skin-tight outfit and garish makeup to court. Any woman who dressed that way would have been called disrespectful and asked to go home. Dylan Mulvaney, and yes, I too tire of speaking of him, gained massive popularity after starting his Days of Girlhood series, which led to his meeting President Biden, being awarded Woman of the Year, and landing several brand deals. And while it's certainly not uncommon for a person of no talent to capitalize on 5 minutes of fame, the fact that Jules LeBron has managed to gain not just national attention, but monetary attention and collaboration with brands such as Taco Bell, Aldi, Sour Patch Kids, Tender, Colgate, and Oreo, MAC products, among others. Soon after trending, Patrick Ta Beauty, a cosmetics brand founded by the makeup artist and influencer Patrick Ta, rushed to partner with Miss Demure herself, flying LeBron out to the brand's New York influencer event on Wednesday. During the event, LeBron collaborated with Ta on a video modeling his brand's new foundation, saying, "We don't do a nasty dry foundation around here. We're very creamy, saturated, very dewy, very mindful." As reported in Gillian Follett's How TikTok's Demure trend quickly caught brands' attention.
I spent the weekend watching this video of a very demure TikToker named Jules LeBron.
You see how I do my makeup for work?
You know, that TikTok has been viewed over 33 million times. And, you know, I love it so much, I asked Jules to come and be on the show. So we tracked her down, and here she is tonight. Jules, how am I doing so far?
Very demure, very mindful.
Okay. Tell me, what was going on when you recorded that TikTok?
Well, apparently the trauma that comes from working a retail job gets enough to you that you start saying demure on the internet.
Where do you work? Can you say?
Oh, it was at Mariano's grocery store in Illinois. Very cutesy, very demure.
What does demure mean to you?
I feel like demure is like a mindset. I used to be crazy and out of control, and then I found some demurity, and along with that came success.
Demurity?
Demurity is my purity.
A lot of celebrities have done the demure videos, including myself. Who was the most surprising to you?
I think J-Lo, because she finally revealed what that orange drink from the block was.
What was it?
Demure.
Well, thank you for being here, Jules. Give Jules a big round of applause.
Additionally, LeBron has been referenced by celebrities like Jennifer Lopez and Olivia Rodrigo. Of course, the concept of demure is highly associated with women and is defined reserved, modest, and shy, typically used of a woman. As noted by LeBron, he defines demure as simply a mindset. Before he joked, "I used to be crazy and out of control, and I found some demurity, and along with that came success. Demurity is my purity." It's interesting how a man is able to fetishize a trait that is expected of women to their detriment, and then monetize it. Trans-identified males define womanhood by stereotypes. Their female gender is supposed to be innate. In other words, instead of gender being how a woman is oppressed, they consider those traits to be womanhood itself, passivity and submissiveness especially. The rise of trends which echo the demands placed on women to conform to traditional roles is no accident. Alongside the trad wife, divine femininity, and cottagecore, and various other passing trends that I don't know.
I'm not afraid to be sexy. I think a woman who's intelligent and also knows how to weaponize her beauty, there's nothing, Jennifer's body. There's nothing more dangerous than that. There's nothing more powerful than that. And so I think I feel like all women should embrace the fact that as the divine feminine, we have a lot of power in that. Instead of rejecting it, I'm happy to embrace it and go for the sexy. Oh, I love that. I love that.
I am totally that girl that's like, who the hell said that women should work? Who the hell? Because I want to go back in time where I'm at home cooking dinner and taking care of the kids and I don't have to go out and work. I'm so sick of college, man. I don't want to be here.
Just let me clean. Just let me
Just
cook.
pay for everything.
Wish we could turn back time.
Which present the domestic as a haven from the burdens of capitalism, and of course incidentally supports a rising tide of anti-feminism. This demure trend is far more transient and lighthearted. A trans-identified male is able to champion this trend for the express reason that he presents a middle ground between the failed subversion of liberal feminism and queer theory rejection of tradition, especially for those who find the trad wife contingent to be too strict or off-putting.
This morning I asked my toddlers what they wanted for breakfast, and they both said cereal, so cereal it was, and we got started right away.
Have you ever asked yourself why it is that trad wives and other conservative female influencers who promote traditional gender roles have all the time in the world to make cereal from scratch, but somehow never seem to record themselves doing essential domestic labor like vacuuming, trying to get a particularly nasty stain out of a shirt, or scrubbing a toilet? When they are performing labor in these videos, it's always something that, strictly speaking, is unnecessary, and they are doing it the hardest way possible. Because the answer is that it is for show. It is all a performance. In his remarkably prescient 1899 book, The Theory of the Leisure Class, Thorsten Veblen coined the terms conspicuous consumption and conspicuous leisure, suggesting that those with wealth and power no longer having any economic production to contribute themselves, instead contribute to the production and consumption of leisure. And those consumption practices, those leisure activities, are conspicuous precisely because that is how the leisure class signals their difference from the working class, signals their exceptionality and their superiority. They're not better than us because they can make their children cereal from scratch. They're better than us because they are so wealthy and well off that they have nothing more important to worry about. And if we were to ever see trad wives perform essential productive domestic labor, or see their husbands perform any domestic labor at all, that would in fact mark them as failures as trad wives. As Veblen wrote in 1899, again, he could have written it yesterday, application to productive labor is a mark of poverty and subjection. It becomes inconsistent with a reputable standing in the community. Because these videos are not instructional. They are maybe inspirational, but they are always performative. This is not real labor. This is symbolic labor. It is nothing more than social signaling that this woman and her family belong to the leisure class. And it is also how she builds and signals her value if you are the sort of person who operates within an exchange economy that assigns high and low value to human beings. Because her value to her husband is not in her ability to care for the home or care for the children, right? Anyone who is able to engage in this level of conspicuous leisure has somebody that they are paying to do all of those things. No, her value is instead in her ability to perform the role of trophy wife, and to be the ultimate realization and personification of her husband's socioeconomic prowess. Because tradwives are conspicuous consumers, yes, but it is the audience's consumption of tradwives that truly makes them valuable to their husbands.
Female socialization is real. That so many trans-identified males choose to monetize and fetishize the cage of the female gender, even when they would have failed if they had been actually female, illustrates that everyone knows that trans women are men. Otherwise, they wouldn't have failed this well.
You see how I walk to the airport? Very demure. I don't do a lot like these other girls. I get to my gate and I get on the plane. I'm very cutesy, very demure.
This, dear viewers, is where we part. I don't like using TikTok. I know I use the videos in my videos, but it's usually what I find posted on Tumblr, or I'll just go on and I will search trans woman crazy, trans women argue at restaurant to find and try to get what I'm looking for. So for the most part, I don't know the trends. I don't watch the videos. I don't like the way that TikTok targets the attention that people have. I don't like how it encourages anti-intellectualism or bad behavior. I do think it can be useful in entertainment concept, but I use them for my videos, not for personal gain. So I had no idea about this trend until I saw someone post about it on Over It, and then I was like, what? Another one? I feel like pretty often you end up getting trans-identified males being given huge monetary gain, huge brand deals, and huge propriety and all this stuff for nothing. Dylan Mulvaney, he didn't get famous for doing anything. He got famous for blogging about how he really identified with stereotypes, and then that's it. And then you have this guy who gets famous for telling other women how to act and look, even though he doesn't look nice. I mean, let's be honest though. Every singer we have, no matter how skilled she is, has to also be pretty. You could have ugly male singers. There are some, like Ed Sheeran, looks like you scraped him off the underside of a table. And yet he's still famous. He can go on stage wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and that's normal. That's fine for him. You don't see the same sort of leniency when it comes to women getting famous. They tend to have to be sexual or really, really funny. Or at the very least, they have to try to be attractive. You don't get that same leniency that men who identify as women get when it comes to making it big. And you'll also notice that, like, yeah, we have, like, people who try to get money from their 5 minutes of fame, and you know what? Sure, go ahead. If you can get some money off of it, go ahead. But it's never really to the same degree. The Hawk Twa girl, again, I don't watch TikTok. I only know of what I've been unwillingly forced to learn. She's not having the same easy way of making money as this guy. She didn't get handed a bunch of deals on day 2 of being famous online. Anyhow, just some thoughts on the concept. I'm definitely going to be going over the domesticity and the fetishization of misogyny in a later video, particularly in how a lot of Western people are converting to Islam and they're making it into this trendy thing, the trad wife thing, the stay-at-home girlfriend trend. All of these things I'd like to go over in like one video at some point. But for now, you get this. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.